Okay. Hey. Hello, everyone. Sensei Victoria Whitfield here from naturalintuition.com. And this is the continuation of our discussion circles gathering around the topic of how to create a visionary life, especially using shamanic journeying. So, in at first I thought this was just going to be like, oh, we're going to like have one discussion circle, and at the time we called it a webinar, which feels all dry and crusty. It's not really how I roll. But with that, the whole webinar format fell apart. We blasted through that like this totally is not in alignment with me. I want to talk to you, and I think it's kind of turned more into like this, like a talk show. We've kind of turned this into a talk show around living a visionary life and just sharing wisdom from all the different amazing spirits and souls that are attracted to this conversation. So there's some familiar faces that keep on coming back, and there's some new faces from here to here. But I believe in having an ongoing discussion around what is a visionary life for you. I know my guides have told me the three components of what that means, right? How exactly to create a visionary life. But what I love about our discussion circles is that this is really evolved into an open forum and a communal exploration and communal journey, right? Communal discovery process around exactly what does that mean for each one of us, right? So much love, so much beauty, so much support. And I'm so grateful to continue our journey into this. So with that, I would love for us all to begin with a brief grounding meditation. I know Dana is driving, so please meditate with your eyes open, goddess, not with eyes closed. But whether you open or closed eye meditate, take a deep breath in, deep into your pelvis as you inhale. As you exhale, allow that to rush out of your mouth. Breathe deep into your pelvis as you inhale. Out of your mouth. This is called mantra ha, which detoxifies you. Again, breathe deep into your pelvis as you inhale. Out of your mouth. Like you're about to fog a window in front of you. We're going to do two more. Deep into your pelvis as you inhale, breathe in. Exhale, fog that window. Last one. Breathe deep into the pelvis, receiving new life and energy. Out of your mouth. Shake it out just a little bit. A nice quickie clearing breathwork meditation. Mantra ha, in particular, is used in Tibetan Tummo meditation for increasing body temperature as well as releasing toxins and clearing out the central channels of your energetic system. And this is really significant because the guides say it's important for you to practice regular clearing so that your intuition is open and receptive. So this is going to be more of what we're going to talk about today as a group on how to create your visionary life, is embracing your natural intuition. And, you know, I'm speaking with everyone on mute for now, but in a little bit, I'm going to unmute everyone so we could go into the round table, as Jody calls it, the discussion circle portion of our time together. But for now, I'd just like to set up what is our topic? What are we looking at? So embracing your natural intuition. Now, for those of you who are watching right now, you may have a very strong relationship with your natural intuition already. Perhaps you are able to pick up on vibes or visions or receive inspiration from your spirit, right? Or your source connection. Perhaps you have dreams that speak to you and inform you about your life and the people in it. Or perhaps you have a very deep intuitive bond with your fur babies, animal people that love you and you get to love on too. Perhaps they're able to know and sense how you feel and you can sense them knowing you. Or maybe your intuition as a mother or as a father is really kicked in, tuning into the needs of your children as extensions of your energetic body. There's so many ways that your natural intuition can wake herself up on her own. So we want to really dive into what has that been like for your experience of opening to having a natural intuition. And then the guides are requesting us to look at how you care for your natural intuition. Are you regularly staying clear and deepening your relationship with your intuition? Can you trust your gut? Are you building healthy trust your gut bacteria? On a regular basis, right? Otherwise known as faith, which is the perspective, right? The looking glass through which we project our life's experiences. Same way that we project our food through our gut bacteria. So that was a strange and legitimate metaphor. Yay. So we'll want to begin, though, with owning your story and owning your relationship with your natural intuition. Do you have one? And if so, how's that going for you? So would you like to unmute yourself? Who wants to share? It feels like you have something on your relationship with your natural intuition. You can unmute yourself, I believe. Don't do it all at once. So I'm going to unmute everyone. In 3, 2. By the way, who's that there on the phone? Starting in 801 area code?
It's Pearl. Can you hear me?
Yes! Hi!
I'm traveling and I stopped to get gas and then I got a little tired. So I thought, I have a call now. Let me just see if I can phone in.
So tell us, what's it been like? How did you first awaken to your intuition, Pearl? What's been your experience?
Pearl? When I was young, I used to have dreams, and then I would see things or know things, and then they would happen, and then I probably lost it because that wasn't what nice girls, proper girls do. They're cliques or they're athletes or they're something else. So then I left it behind and became a lawyer. And lawyers definitely don't listen to angels or voices or anything. So then after I got out of the lawyering business, and I already had all these other classes that I had taken that were healer classes. then I started to get back my, oh, you know this, follow that. And the more I would follow what I knew, then it just came all back. I'm not as much of a feeler or seer as I am just a knower. And so that's what it is for me. Just know something, or get a download, or just sensing the situation, and then, oh, this is, so it's really, I sometimes envy the seers or the feelers, but, I can't beat knowing it.
Yes. This is so good, because what I love, what you're owning in your story with your relationship with your natural intuition, is how there's the bad girl or the wrongness of it, right? It's out of bounds, or it's not really, doesn't apply here. And you're also owning how, oh my gosh, there can be intuition envy. I want mine to look as big as yours. It's not the shape. It's what you do with it. So you have such a wonderful, powerful knowing sense, and it's been this relationship that's developed over time, would you say?
I would say that I probably, like many people of my generation, we were too woo-woo, and so that doesn't work, and people won't believe you, and people can't get it, and you just have to hide it. So it was hidden, and then it's a different day, a different time, a different era, and then it's, oh yeah, I had that, I'm getting it back.
Yay!
So, yeah. And for people, young people today, the millennials and the Victorias and whatnot, I think that they had it, they got it, they never lost it, and they can wear it. And that's way good. That's just so different from people that I know that are like me at my age. Yeah. So God bless the young people that just have it and it's accepted and use it.
For sure. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I wish it was 100% accepted. Right. I'm really grateful for the vortex of yummy unicorns like you, Pearl, that I've gathered around myself and welcomed in and received joyfully by reaching out, right, to look for other naturally intuitive people. But I have to say, I wish you could see what I'm dressed like right now. I stick out like a sore thumb. A sore thumb. Watch me walking through ShopRite. I confuse people all the time. So it's definitely, I'm so grateful to have incarnated in this time, though. We're able to have so much more expression. And I'm so grateful that you're here as a wise woman, right, to help us shine as bright as we were built to. Yeah.
Yeah. That's neat. I'm glad that you've said that. And I certainly am somebody who would hold your feet to the fire if you weren't owning it. Yeah. Oh, y'all, I'm just hold your feet to the fire if you're not owning your magnificence.
I feel the burn.
Okay, enough said.
Thank you, Goddess.
Yeah.
Wendy, how about you? What's been your experience waking up to having your intuition? And was it natural, unnatural? What was that?
Well, for me, I've had this gift since I was very young. I mean, I had visions, powerful visions. Like, for instance, I had the vision of the Twin Towers burning down when I was about 5, 6 years old. At the time, I didn't know what that was, but it stayed with me all my life because it was so profound, so deep, and it was just so real and alive to me. And so I remember the day of 9/11 when it happened. I was like, oh my God, this is what I saw. But like Pearl, I did the same thing. I shut it off because this is not what you do. You know, that's not normal. Even though my family used to call me the witch. There we go. How do you know these things? And it was, sometimes it would be a whisper in my left ear. Sometimes it was just a knowing, like you know it in every fiber in your being. But I would shut it off because, and I shut it off for many years because it was scary. When I had my last corporate job, I was recruited to work for this research center and I didn't want to go. And it was so funny because I saw the position posted, and I'm not going to go through the details, but I saw this position and I knew the job was mine. I didn't want it. And everything, I did everything not to work there. I did everything not to work there because I was really happy where I was. I really I was really happy. I loved my boss. I was, geared to have this big promotion and everything. They kept calling me. They gave me money, which I asked for ridiculous amounts of money and they gave it to me. It was just, I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go there. But long story short, I went. And when I was packing up my office, and right before I was, it was a Friday and I was going to start working the following Monday there. And the voice came, this is the last job you're going to have in this organization. And I knew it was true. And that scared the bejesus out of me, okay? Because I didn't plan to leave the organization. I planned to retire. I was very happy. So I went into this to this research center, and it was the most difficult, hard, miserable, stress full time in my life for 2.5 years. 2.5 years. I hated the people that I worked for, and I shouldn't say hate. It was really, really difficult. But what happened was, in a year later, there was this the recession, and they said, you and 5 of your colleagues might lose your job, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. I was never in that place, and I started looking for a job. I freaked out. And then long story short, I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. So I opened up a business with my cousin, an artisan shop, which I thought I was going to retire there. And, I had all these plans, and we did it for 5 years. And I'm actually officially closing it tomorrow, officially closing it to do what I'm doing now. Okay. But the thing is, if I had not, see, this is the way the universe works. I was pushed into that job. If I would have stayed in that position, I would have probably still be working there, and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But the universe kept pushing me and pushing and saying, hell no, we're getting you out of your comfort. You got things to do. And so I've learned really hard, kicking and screaming. I didn't want to do this. And it's like Colette Baron Reed. I was listening to her earlier today, and she said, I never dreamed I was going to do it. I didn't want to do this. I did not want to be, for me, I didn't want to be the bitch. I didn't want to be the hippie, because I was known as the hippie and the woo-woo girl, that's who I am. That's who I am. And I fought everything all the way. And so long story short, I'm not doing it anymore. So now I listen. I pay attention. I talk to dead people. I seriously do. I talk to plant people. And I've never been happier. Mm-hmm. And so I'm helping people. I'm doing what I was meant to do. So if you don't, the universe will push you in one way or the other to do what you're meant to do. So now I listen. I don't see auras, and so I do get that envy, girl. Wow, look at that aura. I was in a workshop a couple of weeks ago, and everyone was like, oh, do you see her aura? And I'm like, shit, I don't see anything. What are people seeing? So I do get the envy, I don't have all those, all those avenues to see, but yeah, I don't see all those gifts. I don't have all those gifts, but the ones that I do have are powerful and they work for me, and it's part of my personality and who I am. So that's what I do now. I help other people start being who they really are, letting go. And that's what I find. Most of the women that come to me are professionals that are so disconnected from their own spirit and from their own intuitive sense, and they know it and they don't know it. They know there's something missing. There's something. What is it? I got the house. I got the kids. I got everything. I got the dogs. I got the car. And something is missing. What is it? And so really, I needed to go through all that because now I understand it because I experienced it.
Do you feel that going through the crap job experience forced you or trained you in some way, shape, and form to listen to your gut? At what point because you described in the beginning of the experience, you're like, I didn't want it. But all the signs I don't want it. At what point did you start listening to the voice? How did that happen?
How did I really start listening to the voice? It actually, it's so funny. What happened was, it happened when my cousin's husband was very ill, and he was in the hospital. And the night it was a couple of hours before he died. And there was this connection, and I could feel his spirit, and his spirit was talking to me. And I knew he was holding on because he was afraid to leave his wife and his son. And I spoke to him, and I gave him a promise. But the conversation was so sacred and so real, and he was in a coma. But I knew that this conversation actually happened. And after that, he kept talking to me after he left. He's a pain in the ass, by the way. And so that really, it just opened a door. It really opened. He was, it's amazing. I mean, Oprah says that to a certain extent, that with every death, that is a reminder of our lives. And I think it was really critical. I mean, I think, his death and me being in that moment and being there was meant to happen. That was my gateway to really understand that there is really, that they're both so connected, and when it's so fluid, and you can touch that space so easily, and that we're so connected, and so that led me to prayer. It led me to wanting to meditate, and it led me to you, Victoria. And it's so funny because when it was time to let go of Artemisia, it was hard for me to do that. And it was his wife, my business partner, who kept saying, maybe the store was meant for you to meet Victoria, so then you can do what you were meant to really do.
Mm.
And it was so funny because I was delivering a package today, just a little while ago, and I thought to myself, what is the biggest lesson here? What is the biggest lessons here? And to me, it's impermanence. Impermanence, nothing. All of these are just experiences and part of your journey. Okay. So like now I'm going to be teaching Reiki. I did not plan to teach Reiki. And people have been telling me to teach Reiki. And I'm going, no, I'm not teaching Reiki. I'm not teaching Reiki. And now I'm teaching Reiki. I'm going to be teaching.
Sounds familiar. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've heard the song and dance before.
It's like kicking and screaming all the way through. So, so now for me, thinking about that, I started saying, okay, I really need to start paying more attention and letting go and stop creating. And that's hard for me to stop creating the end story. Okay. Stop creating and being attached to that outcome. Right. Because when you become attached to that outcome, it becomes very, very difficult for you to grow and allow universe to guide you to your best, right? Or where you're supposed to be going. And, I look back, I would have never done any of this stuff. I mean, and it's just so magnificent and so wonderful right now. And it's difficult. It's, it has its tough times, but the space that I am in, even in the difficulties, I'm in the best place. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So, it could be a tough day for me, but it's still a great day for me. Because I am so connected. And when I start to feel the funk, I know I am stepping out of faith and I'm stepping out of that vortex. So the more you practice, and this is what I tell my clients, practice every single day, you choose every single day, you can be more in the vortex than out of it.
For sure.
But it's a choice every day. It's a choice every day.
Thank you, Goddess. Beautiful.
Thank you. I'm sorry for talking so much. Victoria, you shouldn't ask me because I could go on and on.
No back pedaling. I don't know who you think you're talking to like that, but I don't tolerate no back pedaling. Say thank you.
Thank you.
God. Nellie, tell us, what has it been like for you? Do you feel like you can trust your gut? And what is it like for you, your relationship with your intuition?
I can tell you that the last few days I did journaling every day. I really love it. I'm really connected to it. And I felt that I'm being connected to my intuition. I felt, yeah. And it's funny, I just saw like a little show, and there were two clowns like that, and they said, I need to be there, and I go there, and I should be there, and they walked from place to place on stage, and they said, I am connected to my gut, to my intuition, but in the same time they say, yes, sometimes you are connected to your intuition, but you don't really know what's there, So I'm very totally out of my comfort zone, and I'm kind of connected to what Wendy said, that although sometimes it's really hard, and when you have children and you move them from a country to a country and you like trying to understand everything, it's very uncomfortable. But even in the hard times, I think that I'm saying to myself, but that's where I want to be. I mean, I want to be on the journey. I can't go back anyway, I can't go back. So it's like I don't have a place to sit or something, but I'm in the middle of the walk. And what's more for the intuition? Yeah, I feel it's sometimes surprising because you need a lot of courage to really now, like the new visions that I have, and I say, oh, it's totally possible for me to have this kind of life. And sometimes it's really hard to say this is not right, and this is something else that I want. And the journaling gave me this. It even told me insist, and I came to my husband very, very clearly, and I said, "That's it. We're moving on. It's sometimes things don't work." So, and it's it's hard because, but if you know that it's your if you trust your intuition, then you say, but he told me so. It's like there is some kind. On one side, it takes a little bit the lift of the responsibility because it's you, but it's someone else that tells you what to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so brilliantly put. Oh my gosh. Because with that, we find that we can trust ourselves but there's this kind of mindset thing where like it's me, but it's someone telling me at the same time. And because of that split and cognitive dissonance that we have, it breeds this felt sense of trust of like, yeah, I know we have to move to Cyprus, like in your case, like I know, which is so powerful. And as you were speaking, my guides, as you were sharing your whole process, right, of having your visions and allowing yourself to see, and then journaling and getting all the clarity and grounding from journaling, my guide said divine feminine confidence is intuition. Divine feminine confidence is intuition. I get the chills. And this is why your husband says, okay, because you're standing in your alignment and your truth.
Yeah, he even had a job interview in Cyprus. I tried to tell, I bought dolmadas, and I told him, let's celebrate that. And he was like, but I think he's insisting, giving him all kinds of things, like, let's celebrate. You've got a lot of money waiting for you in Paphos. Yeah. But I think that it's also interesting to observe how the moment you make like big choices from this intuition, how straight away you're clinging, to the things that you know.
Yes.
And then and also with my husband, okay, so you'll do that and that and that, and I'll do that and that and that. And that's exactly what we did when we arrived to England. And I didn't like it. So I said, no, we need to create a vision. And I had a very strange intuition that I need to home educate my children. And I told it to my husband, and he was like, huh? And it's true that when it's a little bit too much of a challenge, you say to yourself, wait a minute, intuition, don't exaggerate.
No, I know.
But there will be, we'll make it, it's a part of the process of the vision, I guess, to understand what kind of lifestyle I want to have there.
Mm-hmm. Because when you have a vision, you have your target. Like that vision clears the way of, all right, this is where we're going, right? This is where we are going. And that's so good that you helped your husband reframe and say, no, we need a vision for this, rather than doing the same old crap again, right? This is so powerful. Oh.
Awesome.
Thank you, Goddess.
Thank you.
Dana. Ooh. Should I unmute you here? Oh, you got it.
Hi.
Tell us what's coming up for you around this. What was your experience of your natural intuition? Are you able to hear her and trust your gut? What's your story? Yeah.
Well, I was also very intuitive at a very young age. I grew up in a very strict religious family where my entire family was naturally intuitive. My entire family was open, and no one acknowledged it. No one said anything. It was swept under the rug. It was, I know you know things, but God doesn't want us to do that. So at the age of 4, my grandmother, whom I didn't learn had the very same gifts until I was in my late 20s, had said, I know you know things, but Jehovah doesn't want us to do that. And I was like, oh, I'm bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Why do I know these things? From knowing my neighbor was going to pass down the street, or that some car crash in California was happening. Not having a real understanding of, that kind of time and space. And even it would come out just in my regular conversations with family members, hearing adult conversations and passing by and saying, oh, well, maybe you should just take some time to yourself, and everybody's like, oh, you're too grown, at such a young age, but I couldn't help but speak, what came to me. And then, growing up with my friends, all my friends knew. The people that were close to me just, they're like, something special about Dana. Dana always knows. And I was just that person. I love to nurture and care for people as it is. It's part of just who I am in general. So I was able to live that out in that way of being a nurturer with my family and friends. And doing readings for my friends in like middle school and high school at sleepovers, and they're like, yeah, Dana, come on. And we're just we're just playing kind of thing, but yeah, it is what it is. And it wasn't until I was in my late teens and a spiritual teacher that falls on both ends of the spectrum of being positive and negative, was really my inspiration for stepping into who I am. Sylvia Brown, again, she's, her own stuff, but she did inspire me to build a deeper relationship with God or my spiritual space. And I made some agreements at that point. I said, okay, this is who I am. I get it. This is what's happening. All right, fine. I have no idea what's going on, so tell me. And let me know what I need to do, and I will do it. But I need you to be here for me. I need you to show me. I need you to show up. I need you to guide me. And I'll do it. So for years, I just met random people and shared these really beautiful messages. I felt blessed in being able to do that. And I never met a person that objected when I said, like, hi, or I smiled. And I'm like, if you don't mind me sharing, blah, 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 blah. And then, came the hugs and the tears and things. But it was really that agreement that I had made that guide me, and I will do the work that I'm called to do, but prove it. I'm a skeptic myself many times, and of course it's always there, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes,
I don't know. And it's brought me to this point in my life, and this communion with all of you, the meetings that we have with every person that brings us to where we are, from a very resistant stretch in ministry to starting my own spiritual practice, and becoming a spiritual teacher and guide to others. And even in those moments where we doubt and we turn to what it is that we do know for fear of losing it all or not having that security, always being there, always being a nudge or even that kind of punch in the gut that says we're not having any more of this. It's time to do what you know you're supposed to do. Having those visions, not just for others, but also for myself, which I say is a blessed experience. And I think that always comes up in being in community with your people, with those that are like you. For so many years, I felt alone. I thought I was alone. I did not know that there was a world outside of my own that would love and accept me for who I am and encourage me to speak my truth and encourage me to be a light in the world and honored as a child of God or as a bright being in the universe. And thankfully, taking the steps on that path has shown me so much more that's out there and so much work that needs to be done that I am called to do.
Yay! Wow, everyone's so eloquent today. Oh. And I love that. I had no idea it was Sylvia Browne who inspired you, and you went on like doing Long Island medium. Whatever one. What kind of hair did you have?
Oh gosh, I've had like an orange afro, and like I go back and forth. I did wigs at like in high school, like most people in high school wouldn't do. I was like, whatever. I don't feel like doing my hair. Yes, I was that unique person. People thought I was a teacher in high school. Like I like to shop at New York and Company. Like I'm like, oh yeah, this is nice stuff. But you know, yeah, and I went to see Sylvia Browne. I went to a couple of her events that she had done. I still have some books that I just really love and appreciate. And the great thing about being connected to your own intuition is the source of wisdom and truth that is so strong. So where we may not have aligned in thoughts and beliefs with some of the material I read of Sylvia Browne's, it was like my energy would come in and be like, yeah, this is where we're going to stop for right now, and I'm going to tell you about this part. And I get it. And I respect that. And it helped me to learn and understand what other people in the world go through and have compassion for others with different beliefs. You know, we can only be responsible for what we know. And it's not for me to shame or you know, put anyone else down for that. I have a desire to love and understand people. And that's my goal. It's what I try to do no matter where we fall on those lines, is to have love and respect, because we're not alone in the world. If there is a me, there are others. And if there is a you, there are others. And we all deserve to be treated with love and respect. We're all worthy and dignified.
Beautiful. Oh, couldn't agree more. And what I love about that is how you've illuminated the the light and the dark of how the ego can dance with being naturally intuitive. So, okay, my guides just said that's also a matter of hygiene. So we'll get to that. That's a really great point. So with that, there's the dark side sometimes, where we're coming from our alignment. Intuitively, my source connection says we're going to do this, right? And if someone else has a source connection, there's, well, I want to do this, right? And they have their own vision. The ego can sometimes pop up as the protector of you know, someone who's a little bit fearful and say, well, I better dominate that person or else my source connection is invalid. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's not necessarily true, right? The universe is big enough for multiple points of view, multiple connections to source, multiple dimensions. So it depends where you're coming from. If it's coming from fears, where that competitive or dominating, or well, you know you're going to die in 6 months anyway, so why do you think you're going to do da-da-da-da? I've had that experience where, you know, you go to the, here in Jersey, they're out on Route 22 with, like, you know, the sign out front of a house. It says, oh, psychic reading, and they're open 24/7, and then you walk in and it's like, you get ripped off. Don't do it. Don't do it. If I could recommend that. But anyway, for some people, they take their natural source connection. They'll use it from a fear space to shape others to bend to their will. What's creepy, though, is that it's effective because whoever has the most certainty wins. So just to explain, if you're one of you who are on right now, or if someone who's watching the recording has had this kind of like one of the, you know, gypsy psychic kind of experiences, I've worked with people who, unfortunately, one woman, her family sunk 40 grand into this woman who just, you know, ran them to the ground saying, you know, your baby's going to die if you don't pay me another, you know, $5,000 for me to look into the da-da-da-da. So what happens is for someone who's really clear on their agenda, they can mix that with a little bit of intuitive gift and end up dominating someone else who's not clear on what they really want, and they're just trying to find guidance anywhere, right? Lacking a sense of certainty, trusting their own gut. You know, when I remember, I'm thinking of one woman in particular. I said, was there any point when she would say this stuff that in your stomach you thought, this isn't going to work out? And she said, yes. But fear motivated her to go through with it, right? Because she loved her baby. It took, she had infertility issues. So she was desperate to protect the life of her child. And she was even kind of scared to talk to me because, you know, PTSD, shell shock kind of thing. Ooh, you're woo. She was woo. So that means because she was crazy, you're crazy, right? Nope. So took good care of her, and she's still in the tribe to this day. But with that, you got to watch out for where you're coming from. And this is where I wanted to tie back into Dana, because Dana made the beautiful point of coming from love and honoring and showing love to all those, all beings, right? All beings who have their intuitive source connection. Because if you're coming from fear, that competitive dominating paradigm is going to come out, because the ego, he's trying to protect that being that's in fear of oh, if I'm wrong, I'll be annihilated. Is this making sense? Just wave a hand in the air if this is starting to resonate. Okay, thank you. So with that, moving into a love paradigm with your natural intuition is, okay, I'm opening up to trust rather than I'm trying to force my will or my agenda and you know, trying to dominate reality or dominate the people around me and get them to submit to what I want. Instead, all right, I'm opening up to trust that I'm getting the right guidance and that the right people are going to be attracted to that resonance. It's a different form of confidence. Now, the fear one, unfortunately, it's a certainty that is very powerful and can really, through the pain of it, motivate people to take massive action. Like that one woman I was describing, was like 40 grand. Like playing on her superstitions as a Catholic woman and all of this stuff. Really awful. But coming from love, where we're opening and we're proceeding forward with, like Nellie said, we don't know what really is going to happen, but there's a trust, there's that knowingness that Cypress is the right one. You feel it in your body, right? It makes you feel joyful and radiant, right? Because that type of, ooh, the chills, that type of confidence is courageous, right? And open and trusting. So rather than it being dominating like the fear-based one, this is infectious, right? Because you're just so radiantly clear because of the vision that source has given you, right? Like Nellie, you're so clear because of that vision that you've gotten from your source connection that, oh my God, your husband and everyone behind you is so excited because they're like, oh, we feel it too. It's infectious. So what's crazy is that the same intuitive connection is there, whether it's you or thinking of like the bad dominant person. But how you work yours is different than them because you're coming from love versus them coming from fear, right? Fear begets more fear and love begets more love, right? It opens and continues to spread like wildfire. Now, it's the fear thing can spread like wildfire too. But getting back to what the guides were saying before, fear, coming from fear is a matter of personal hygiene. And this is where I think our landing point is going to be for this week's episode, this discussion circle. Spiritual hygiene is so important, right? Keeping your energy clear, feeding your faith, right? Feeding your joy, caring and tending to the garden of your visions, right? And loving them up as a form of self-awareness, self-care, and self-management. This is your hygiene. It's spiritual hygiene. So the more you practice techniques and exercises, experiences, philosophies that keep you open and open you up more to receiving intuitive guidance, the more love you'll be capable of feeling and moving through the world because you're opening up more and more to trust. I feel very deeply that shamanic journeying is a wonderful tool and technique for spiritual hygiene in this respect, right? Because practicing it regularly, you develop a deep relationship with your spirit guides where you're trusting the process. You learn to relax into the journey experience, right? You feel more open with time. The mindset is, I'm immortal, I'm immortal, I'm immortal, so that you trust and continue to move through what visions you receive, right? And it gets deeper and deeper with time. So does anyone, who is feeling this around spiritual hygiene? Have you ever heard this before, or what's cooking? I'm curious.
Well, I would share that I'd say I'm in the space now where I do need to up my own personal care and spiritual hygiene because I am experiencing the pitfalls of being disconnected. So even when Wendy was sharing, the people that are coming to her, because Wendy, I'm booking a session, right? I've been to your new website like 3 times and I'm like, the payment information, I keep thinking there's PayPal. I'm just going to say PayPal.
Hello!
I'm always looking for my card, like, where's my card? Okay. But, I love you so much. But, being disconnected, driving ourselves into the familiar, the safe space that isn't great and feels yucky, kind of takes us further away, makes us forget, makes us question, can I do it? Is this really me? And then you find yourself in that space and you're like, what the hell was I talking about? Like, I live here. Like, yes, and absolutely. Now, what do I need to do to get out of that? And the answer is always do more of it. Do more of this, get back into that practice. I've said before, going back to your foundation that drove you or aligned you on that path is important. You have a starting point. And as women, because we spiral and, there's always that foundational point that you can move back and forth to. And one of the most loving ways to get back in that space is to find that familiar, loving space and walk that path again. And you'll see that you do it faster and faster each time.
Yay! Amen. Yeah. Wendy, I feel like you were about to say something.
No, it's true. It's so easy to become disconnected and to especially when you're working and you're going through all your task lists and your to-dos, and as a mother, you have a huge list of things. It's a major, it's a wonderful experience and so forth, but there's a lot of you that you're giving away. But it is creating that space for yourself, knowing what it is that brings you into that vortex and choosing every day to do that. So everyone is different. Everyone is different, it might be just, dancing, every morning in the nude. I don't know what floats your boat, but whatever it is that brings you into that space where you feel so connected, and you know that whatever is happening around you, no matter what it is, you know that you and everything will be okay. When you know that in every fiber in your being, when you connect that way, and you want to be able to do that every single day. And so it's finding what is it that brings you there and choosing every single day, this is non-negotiable. I am going to sit in my meditation. I am going to dance in the nude. I am going to walk in the park. I am, whatever it is, if it's mantra meditation, if it's yoga, if it's rollerblading, it could be anything. But the thing is understanding what it is that gets you there and choosing that this is something I need to do for myself, because when you do that for yourself, you're doing it for everyone else. You're doing it for others. And that, it is so powerful that you don't even need to do anything. That energy so expands and is so palpable. Everyone feels it when you walk into a room. It's, believe me, it's just spectacular. And knowing, and this is one of the things that it's not about me. That is the biggest lesson for me. It is not about me. Spirit works through me, and I am just simply an instrument. Marianne Williamson does it perfectly when she says, you are the faucet and divine is the water. So, divine flows through you. And you want to be able to connect into that space, so then the divine can work through you to heal others. And it's just stepping away. That's what I do. When I do my, when I see clients, I go, okay, Wendy, you got to step aside now. I literally say that. And you disconnect from that ego part, because it's easy. It's very easy to get into that ego in a split second. But when you're aware of it, you can easily laugh and say, okay, you're not coming along for the ride today. Not right now. Maybe later.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I love it. I love it. Nellie, take us on home. What do you have on spiritual hygiene? What do you think?
I think that, I knew this exercise of the 40 or 50 things that puts you into the vortex, but I didn't really complete it till this last challenge. And I think what it gave me is that, because very easily I can forget, and being in the dark places is very easy and familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so what it gave me was kind of surprising, because when you say dance in the living room, yeah, okay, sometimes for a long time I felt like I'm forcing myself. Okay, be happy, put happy, yeah, happy. It was too much, it's like, leave me alone, I just want to be depressed now, I don't want to be happy. but when I did this exercise with the 50, and then I said, I went with my kids, it was a few days ago, and I went with them to the sea. And I was in my things, and then I said, hey, going to the sea is one of the things that puts me in the vortex. So, hello, wake up. So it's it reminds me, the fact that I have that list is like, hey, you're doing things that puts you in the vortex. You are now in a really good place. So enjoy, So I think that, but I think it's really, really important. So that list is helpful because it's also so easy to forget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So good. I love that. And even with the list, it's more about doing than finishing it, right? Type A for awesome. Type A for awesome wants to finish every single thing, or else it's wrong. And what I love is that in that moment when you were going to the sea with your kids, you surrendered to, I'm going to what puts me in the vortex. Beautiful, right? And you became receptive to it from being, in anger land, which is a different kind of vortex. Right?
But it's really good to do those lists because it helped me a few times. I was in a birthday party with my children and there were bubbles, and I was like, and then I was like, hey, bubbles, it puts me in the vortex. I started to jump there on the trampoline. I was like, whoa, yeah! So it's helpful like that. Yeah, I like it.
Beautiful, yeah. I love bubbles too. I'm standing next to some right now, actually. Let me see if I can blow a couple for you. These are special bubbles that one of my dear clients gave to me that resist popping. So they're made from a special fluid that they maintain their bubble shape when you blow them.
I know those.
So good. Oh, I love it. So your joy is part of your spiritual hygiene for sure. And the more we get to be present to our vortex, the more present we are to our pleasure and the things that make us happy, the more we actually feel open and receptive to life, as well as open and receptive to what Source is trying to tell us, right, through our intuition and through our bodies. Now, if someone's watching, they're like, well, I don't exactly know how to get started with that. How in the world do I start practicing spiritual hygiene? I would say a great place for you to start would be, because shamanic journey is a little bit of a complex practice to start with. I would say begin with meditation, especially around grounding visualization. So whether you want to go in YouTube and pop in grounding meditation into YouTube to sample that out, or you could come on over to victoriawhitfield.com. And I have a course called the Understanding Energy course, which is an 8-week course where I take you through exactly how to start practicing spiritual hygiene, going through my book, Natural Intuition Now. So wherever you're at, though, remember, just start practicing it. Think about it this way. If you heard about brushing your teeth, but never started brushing your teeth, what kind of breath and teeth do you think you would have? Oh my God. Just start somewhere, whether you're getting your toothbrush from YouTube or you're coming on over to victoriawhitfield.com, naturalintuition.com, it doesn't matter. But start somewhere, right? Or holler at the amazing goddesses that have gathered on this call, Wendy, Nellie, and Dana, who have fantastic businesses. You could just put their names in Google. You'll be able to find them for what you're looking for and really getting support and staying in your vortex and staying connected to your natural intuition. So I want to thank you all so much for dropping in on another discussion circle. Has this how are you liking the circles? Do you think this is like a good thing? Is it really helpful for you? What do you think?
I love it. I mean, it's always good to chat and connect, and it just brings out, it grounds you, definitely grounds you. And it's good to share where we are in our spaces, and you know, and support each other. To me, this is a big support as well.
Yes, I posted in our group today, so if you'd like to know my thoughts, come on by and see my post. No. It's in this group, but I was actually thinking, I was like, you know, it's May, and I remember getting the invitations. I didn't know how many I had gotten. I was like, I hope it's not over. I hope it's not ending. I was so glad that we were having this call today. So I was like, I love you guys. I need this, and it's really it's really opened me up again, where I feel my goddess just coming out and talking. I was telling Victoria today, like, I'm going to talk myself out of the job, but there's so much more. I have my own stuff I need to be doing.
That's right.
Today I was listening to one of Victoria's videos, and the next video that came on was one of our talks, and I'm listening, and I'm like, that sounds like really good. It was myself talking. I had myself on my YouTube, on my television, and I'm like, yeah, I that's how I feel. I'm like, so yeah, pretty darn awesome.
I love it. Oh my God. Yes, please celebrate yourself. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Oh, Nellie, how have you liked this? What do you think of the discussion circle?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's yeah, it's good.
Yay! That works for me.
It's late here, but it's actually a good time for me. So it's like 11:30 now, or almost midnight.
Oh la la. You're in London.
In Brighton.
Brighton. Yeah. Oh, so it's after the kids and everyone's asleep. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yay, quiet time for mom. So you have a good rest of your evening and have vivid dreams. And we'll see you all next time.
Hi, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bye.